But that brings us on to our final film that was out this weekend in UK cinemas, which was Paddy Considine's Journeyman, which is a new film. It's a British film directed and written by Paddy Considine, who, if you know anything about British film, TV, everyone loves him. And rightly so. The guy's an incredibly talented man. He brought a film out previously called, and I want to say it was called Tyrannosaur, but I may have just pulled that out of my arse. But he did a film before, is what I'm trying to say here. I didn't actually see that. So this is the first thing I've seen from him as a director and as a writer and as an actor in it. And it's about a boxer who has a wife and a kid, and he goes to do a boxing fight, as boxers do. That tends to be what they do. And it goes really well, and he wins it. And he's like, I'm retiring now. And then, shock horror, has a horrible, horrible, life-changing incident as a result of this boxing match, which leaves him essentially almost a shell of his former self. And basically the film, we follow him coming back to, in quotation marks, a normal life with his family. And it's basically just following his road of recovery there. And I'm going to say it right out of the bat. I feel like I am completely in the minority on this one, in that I have seen a lot of people truly, truly connecting with this film, really enjoying it, and really getting moved by it and appreciating it. And I am incredibly jealous of all of those people, because I've got to say, this film was a big surprise for me. I didn't really know what I expected, but it wasn't this. I was shocked at how bad this film was for me. And I saw this film at its first ever UK premiere. I saw this way back in October at the London Film Festival. I was going to do a review then, but I left it for a while, and I thought I'll just wait until it's out in the cinemas in the UK, and then I'll get my thoughts out. But I really, really didn't like this film, which might surprise many of you, because there's a lot of 4-star reviews out there for this, and there's a lot of people connecting with it. And as I said, fine, that's good. I'm very jealous of you, and I'm very happy that people are connecting with it, because I think it should have an audience somewhere. But for me, I don't know. The biggest problem I have with this film is that it is one of those films which is so incredibly invested and solely interested in creating drama and making its audience weep. And you might disagree with me on that one, and that's fine. I've seen a lot of people connect with it in a different way, but for me, it felt very, very much like a film which is very interested in making you cry. To a very jarring point. It really was hard for me to get into any scene in this film, because it starts off well enough. It's a well shot film. It's simple. It feels, by all means, an incredibly British film. Take from that what you will. I don't know what that means to many different people, but for me, like a British typical film that you might see on BBC is what I'm saying there. And it starts off interesting. Paddy Considine is likable as ever. I enjoy watching him in anything. And then his accident comes, and then essentially the next hour of the film, right up until its end, is different things happening in this couple and family's life, which just seem to progressively get more sad and more obviously sad. So, like, he'll come out of his accident, and it'll be like, okay, here's the scene where Paddy Considine can't make a cup of tea for his wife. And then the next scene will be like, oh, he's at home with his daughter. Where's his daughter gone? Oh, his baby's in the washing machine. And that'll be it. And then it'll just go to the next scene. But it's almost as if he has a list of sad things that would happen in a situation, and you can see him and feel him and watch him literally just going down this list. And it's like, oh, he can't make a cup of tea for his wife. That's sad. That's that scene done. He can't look after his daughter anymore. She's in a washing machine. That's sad. And then it's like, oh, he can't remember his own career and his wife. That's sad. And it just rattles through them. And for a good half-hour portion in the middle of this film, I was just asking myself, what am I really supposed to be getting from this film? It wasn't clear to me. And I think you can argue, and I think it's definitely a solid argument, that really it's just a character study at looking at what this sort of thing does to a relationship. Absolutely, I don't deny that that's probably what Paddy Considine's going for in here, but for me, I just didn't. I'm not sure what I'm meant to be getting from this, other than I'm meant to be crying, and I wasn't crying. And I think they're solid performances. I think Paddy Considine does a good job in becoming someone that isn't Paddy Considine. So in that sense, his acting is good. But I don't know. There was something missing for me. It felt incredibly obvious. Every single piece of dialogue in this film felt incredibly on the nose. There was no real subtlety to it. The subtlety for me, and the strongest part of the film, came for the subtleties in Paddy Considine's performance. So I can say that's the strongest part of the film for me. But dialogue-wise, relationship-wise, and character-wise, it felt so on the nose. Every scene, to the point where I couldn't get into it, and all the moments where I almost did get into it, it sucked me right back out. Like, there are things that happen in this film that purely happen for the sake of drama, and I don't feel like would evolved or explored even remotely interestingly. There's this stuff about his friends in the film not being there for him, and then obviously when you get to the climax of this film, without spoiling too much, they are there for him, and you have this kind of reconciliation, these characters understanding what's gone wrong there and working through it. And on a very simple level, it is entertaining, I think, at certain points, but also it's not remotely. And it's stuff like that, those friends just doing shit that I don't really understand why these guys are doing this, but purely, it's only happening so that at the end of this film, they can change, you know? And the change happens so quickly. There's a clear point in this film where everything negative that's happening, all of the relationships that are going wrong with Paddy Considine's character in this film, very clearly switch over into the, oh, we're in the final act, we're going to start clearing this stuff up, everyone's going to start becoming friends again. It happens so quickly. And the sequence where it happens, I thought was executed horribly. I don't want to go into too many spoilers, but he tries to... this is spoiler, so take from what you will, but he tries to commit suicide at one point. He tries to jump from a bridge because his life has just got that bad, right? And it's at this point you start to get into the arc of him learning that life isn't that bad and there are things to hold on to here. But he literally jumps off a bridge, goes underwater, and has like 3 flashes of his wife and his daughter, and then emerges from the water, and he's like, I'm a different man now. Everything is fine. Everything is great. And I was like, what? And it felt weirdly like it might have a negative impact on the discussion around suicide and disability. I don't know. I feel like I'm probably the only one that's getting this. I haven't seen this in any other reviews, but I honestly felt like what I was watching could have a genuine negative impact on the dialogue around suicide and disability. And maybe that's me being too sensitive about these things, which is weird because I'm not usually too sensitive about things like this. I'm usually a defender of stuff like that in the name of drama and cheese and cliche in this film. But I absolutely didn't connect with anything in this film. I think it was an okay looking film. It had all right performances, Paddy Considine being the strongest here, but it was a complete run through of a list of things which are going to be sad and trying to make you cry, and it didn't work for me. So I really, really didn't like Journeyman. It was the worst film I saw at the London Film Festival, and I have a tendency to talk in hyperbole, but it was one of the worst films I saw last year, actually. But I'm very aware I'm in a minority on this one, so everyone else is connecting with it very well. I'm happy it's finding an audience. See it for yourself, I think. See it for yourself to work out whether you enjoy it or not, because don't just take my word for it. But I am genuinely surprised to see such an overwhelmingly positive response to it. It's hard to come by a negative review for this film, which shocked me because I really didn't like it.